Using the herbs I grow to help with healing is one of the favorite things I do during the summer, along with using the herbs to help make better nutrition and make my food taste better. So today's class is about these three wonderful herbs that two were gifted to me, and the third I grew. I started growing, and I have not had to plant anymore since, and it keeps renewing because, well, actually what I do is I don't buy more to plant, but I will save one of the bulbs of the garlic and rip it apart and stick it back in, and next year I've got garlic again. So hi, my name is Mary Bourne. I'm a traditional naturopath, and I love sharing natural remedies with people for better health. And natural medicine has been around for thousands of years because it works. Thank you for joining me today. I hope that you like this video and give me a thumbs up and perhaps subscribe if this is the first time you've seen this video. I have lots of tips on being healthy with natural remedies. So I hope that you share these and enjoy them. So I've been having a lot of fun during these hot summer days, creating some supplies for my herbal medicine chest. So I'm going to share a couple of recipes with you today. And I love having herbal remedies on hand. You know, it's not very well thought out if you don't have something on hand to deal with things. Now, a lot of people think of aspirin and ibuprofen and, you know, maybe some Band-Aids and that, but I don't think about that. I think about the natural things that have worked for our ancestors. So that's what I want to share with you, and how effective and unharmful most of them are. So when you use herbal medicine that you have right on hand, healing is going to take place a lot faster. So the three herbs that I have shown here this is mullein, and this is the flower. And Mullein's sort of like a gladiola. You get a flower and it dies, and then you get another flower. And sometimes you get 3, 5, maybe 6 of the flowers. So gathering mullein is something that takes time. And for a lot of recipes, you need at least 30 of these blooms. And so I pick them first thing in the morning, and there's still dew on them. So I leave them sit out for about 12 hours, and then I stick them and collect them in a jar. And I cover the jar with a coffee filter and a rubber band so that there's airflow and we don't get any mold. And it generally takes me about a week and a half to gather 30 to 40 blooms. And I only have the one stalk. You can find mullein growing along the roadside, but you want to make sure that it's not been sprayed on or exposed to carbon monoxide or any dirt and that. So collect the blooms if you find these in the woods, you can collect the blooms and then save them in a little paper bag and wait until they're dry, and then you can use them. Basically, you can use the fresh, but you want to make sure that there's no water on them. So the leaves, well, let me tell you how it's used. So according to rxlist.com, mullein is used for cough, whooping cough, tuberculosis, bronchitis, hoarseness, pneumonia, earaches, colds, chills, flu, swine flu, fever, allergies, tonsillitis, and sore throat. So it really has a lot of wintertime uses. Other include asthma, diarrhea, colic, gastrointestinal bleeding, migraines, joint pain, and gout. So it's really a very, very good herb, and it has been studied rather extensively. So the buds or the flowers are what are used for like ear pain or skin conditions. And the leaves from the first year plant, which looks like a rosette. So it's a 2 seasons plant. And the first season looks like this. It's a rosette of beautiful gray green leaves that are fuzzy. In fact, it's been noted for campers' toilet paper. So if you're out camping and you need some toilet paper, find a mullein plant. And at this point, it doesn't matter if it's first season or second season. By then, you're probably desperate. So if it's used a lot, it can be an irritant. But the first Americans used to pad their moccasins with this, and it would keep them nice and warm, and it would help to keep their feet warm because the leaves being fuzzy like that are a slight stimulant, so they draw blood to the area for better circulation. Now, it doesn't cause bleeding, it just causes better circulation. So you can see how it can be used for when you have a migraine headache that is a congestive headache and not too much, where too much blood is up in the head area and you need better circulation. Asthma is the same type of thing. You don't have good lung circulation. Joint pain and gout, you're not getting rid of those acids like you should. So you can see how a remedy with mullein leaves in it would help with the respiratory and joint situation, uh, basically during the winter. So now's the good time to use it. And so you might want to do a screenshot of this. This is a recipe that I made for a cough suppressant. You can use finely cut herbal material. I used a couple of the leaves and the top, and this is what it looks like. So this is made with vodka, and it has to sit for, I read varying degrees of recipes where it said 2 weeks to a month. And the first week, you really want to make sure that you titrate it and shake it up and make sure that all of the herbal material is covered in the alcohol. And then after that, you can just put it in a cool, dark place, but then mark your calendar after a month that you want to strain it and get the herbs out, and then you can decant the decoction in something prettier or put it for use. But it has a pretty good shelf life because of the alcohol content in it. So this is a very good herbal recipe. I used yellow echinacea. You're probably used to using the purple, but you only use the flowers. You don't use the cone part. And then Melissa, and of course the mullein. I feel that this will be a great thing for coughs, and you can add it to teas and make a really good tasting, helpful tea for the winter time during cold and flu season. Now, St. John's wort is a well-known medicinal herb. It's often associated with treatments of anxiety. It really is, it uplifts the soul, and it's used in a lot of traditional medicines, especially across the Balkans, as a topical wound and ulcer salve. By the way, if you're enjoying these videos, please subscribe and give me a thumbs up. My website is bornforhealth.com, where I have other interesting information and newsletters. You can look up herbal definitions and what their constituents are used for under the Herb Encyclopedia. And if you want to email me about a specific thing, it's drmary@bornforhealth.com. So when people are dealing with an infection of some sort, they get very concerned if their temperature goes above 100. But in herbal medicine, we know that that's part of the immune system, and we want to encourage the sweating process to assist the immune system in getting rid of whatever infection it's fighting. Naturally, if it goes over 103, you want to either do a cool bath or you want to cool the body down somewhat. Oftentimes doing an enema will bring that temperature right down. I don't use vaccines. I don't use medicines at all. Generally, the herbal teas and supplements that I recommend, I use, and I support my body in health. And I feel that I've been doing a fairly good job. On Thursday, I'm going to be 77, and so it seems like I'm pretty healthy for it. So naturally, if you don't see results, you want to check out what's happening with a physician. So this is St. John's wort, and it was one of the things that was gifted to me by some birds, and I've been using it for 7 years. Naturally, when you do wildcraft harvesting, you don't harvest all of it. I clipped the top 7 inches or so, and that's basically what I use in my herbal medicines. So the flowers and leaves can be dried. They can be kept in I put them in a paper bag, and then when they're dried, you can strip off the dried material and throw away the stalk. So it's really a really fun thing to do, especially in this hot weather when you're out like me first thing in the morning, and then you hide away the rest of the afternoon in a cool house. So the decoction I made with this, like I said, you can use it in a tea form, but St. John's wort is well known for anxiety and depression, and it can be used in either oil form, where you are rubbing it on yourself, or you can make a decoction out of it, preserve it in alcohol like I did, and then use a dropper full in tea during the winter months to keep that uplifting feeling. During the summer, it isn't recommended to do a lot of St. John's wort because it does make you more sensitive to the sun, but that's why it's so beneficial in the winter time. So when I started my garden, I planted garlic, and this is the garlic I planted, and this is what the tops look like. Each one of these is a little flower, and you can pick these off, put them in a salad. They're really lovely, just a very hint of garlic. So you can sprinkle it on different things in omelets and that. And then the bulb looks like this. And this is what they call a hardneck. I don't know if you heard that, but it's very hard, very stiff. And so there's 2 varieties growing. Now my sister grows this kind, and I looked it up, and it's called a soft neck garlic. And you can cut off this part here and chop this for like in a vegetable dish and that. And the bulb grows pretty much the same like this, except this part is very soft. Now, these are the kind that are dried and braided. So if you've seen those garlics braided together, not the hard neck kind, you cannot braid this. And when you store it, you want to store the garlic like this. Now, a lot of people just store their garlic, brush off the remainder of the dirt and store it this way. And then when it's created a skin on it, then they brush off the rest of it and use it whenever they want to use garlic. But I don't like to keep the skin, the dirt on it. So I wash mine really well, and then I can refrigerate it. And it stores in the refrigerator for quite some time. So uh, it's a great old time herb. The You can look up when to plant them and how to plant them and everything. Basically, like I said, if I have a damaged one like this, I will pick off, stick it in the ground immediately. Sometimes you get what's called a corm, and it looks like a very small clove of garlic. It's very hard, and that will not produce garlic the next year, but it takes 2 years for the corm to create a clove of a bulb of garlic, not a clove. So you plant the clove and you get the the bunch like this. So this is what there's Dr. Shiva, and you can look up his information on cytosolve.com. He has done through computer the benefits of, so he takes and compiles all the literature that has been presented on a particular thing. And this is what he found on garlic, that it is anti-hypertensive, anti-atherosclerotic, which means that it's inhibits the fat from building inside the arteries, and it's antithrombotic, which is the heartbeat. And with cancer, they're seeing it as it's pro-apoptotic, which means apoptosis is when the cell dies. So it helps the body in killing off cancer cells. And it's immunotherapeutic. And we know that thousands and thousands of papers and studies have been done on garlic. It is the most well-studied herb of any of the herbal remedies. It is antibacterial, antifungal, antiparasitical, and antiviral. So if you're dealing with an infection and you don't really know, is it bacterial? Should I get an antibiotic? Yeah, which would be counterintuitive if you have a viral infection. So taking raw garlic is really a wonderful answer to this. Now, some people are not fond of the taste of raw garlic, but it is that spicy, pungent flavor that creates the alanine that your body uses to produce these benefits. So it if you're not a fan of the taste of garlic, there are, like the company that I use, Nature Sunshine, does have a chlorophyll coated high potency garlic that doesn't exude garlic from every pore. See, that's the beauty of garlic, is that it works from the inside out. And when you smell it on your breath, you know it's working. It comes out your pores, doesn't just come out the breath. So it is a extremely beneficial herb. Now, this is the combination of the three herbs that we're focusing on today. And you can take a screenshot of this, or I will put it in the description below. So you make the remedy, and when you're done, you shake it like I did every morning. I shook it and make sure all the herbs were saturated with the oil. Normally, when you make an oil infusion like this, you fill the jar, but I didn't want that much. I wanted to decant mine in 1 ounce droppers, and I got 1.5 dropper full of this from, this is a 4 ounce canning jar. So you don't really need tons and tons of it. You're only going to use 2-3 drops at a time. And with garlic oil, you want to either hold it in your hand and warm it. Even at room temperature, it can hurt an already hurting ear. So you want to warm it. For babies, what I've done is I've just put it in my armpit and warmed the bottle for a couple of minutes while I'm soothing the child, turning them on their side. And then I will put the couple of drops in their ear, put a cotton swab in, and then turn them on their side and do the same thing. Now, you always want to do both ears, because if they're having an infection, maybe the most delicate ear will appear first. And so you want to make sure that you're taking care of both ears. You don't want next week for that child to be coming down with another ear infection. And this is a really good thing to treat a child a couple of weeks before flight, because oftentimes the pressure in the airplane is really hard on a child. So it's a good preventative measure, and of course to bring it with you so that you can then do it the day before the next flight home. And I think that, being proactive is a really good idea. So having things like this in your medicine chest, your emergency first aid kit, is really a really good idea. So these are the 3 herbs that we focused on today, and I hope that you found them beneficial, that you grow to love these herbs like I do. I use garlic a lot in cooking, but I've also learned to love it in herbal remedies as well. Now, if you don't like the smell of it, and you can always add a couple of drops of lavender oil to it, that would be beneficial, and that would kind of overtake the garlic smell. And also beneficial. Lavender oil is very, very beneficial for calming. If a child is upset and they're hurting, lavender oil could be a very good addition to this. So I hope that you like and share and subscribe to my channel, that you find it to be very useful. Again, I'm Dr. Mary. I'm a traditional naturopath, and my email address is drmary@bornforhealth.com. And I want to thank you for viewing, and until next time, enjoy this beautiful weather that God has given us, and hopefully you found more uses for the things that are growing in your garden, and that you stay tuned to my channel. Thanks. Bye for now.